We've got some breaking news. Kirk Cousins spotted in Ohio at a Chipotle in Westlake, just outside of Cleveland. This is the most Browns offseason storyline ever, but it's real. He even verified it with his Chipotle order, and call me crazy, I don't think Kirk Cousins opted to spend late March in Northeast Ohio for fun. No, I'm going to look at this and I'm going to run with it. I'm choosing to believe Kirk Cousins is in Cleveland area at Westlake, which, by the way, my first fake ID was from Westlake, Ohio, and he is there because he is meeting with the Browns. I don't have any proof of this beyond he's in Westlake, he's not far from Berea, but I am choosing to believe that he is not coincidentally in Cleveland right now on a Thursday at the end of March. No, I think he is in Cleveland to meet with the Browns. And I think there are two things that the Browns want to meet with him about. One is something that the Browns want to discuss. One is something that Kirk Cousins wants to discuss. Okay? Because when we talk about a trade with Kirk Cousins, usually trades are point A to point B, right? The Browns talk to the Falcons and they make an agreement and the player gets shipped. However, when a player has a no-trade clause like Kirk Cousins does, it's now a triangle because the Browns and Falcons can't come to an agreement on a trade and have that be done. They need to get Kirk Cousins to sign off on it, which leads me to what I believe the two things the Browns and Cousins are looking to discuss in the early stages of this potential trade. One, from Cousins' perspective, is he would like to know what the Browns' intentions are with the second overall pick. He does not want to go from a place in Atlanta where he had a rookie selected shortly after he joined the team, find himself in the exact same spot 1 year later with Cleveland. So he probably wants that question answered first and foremost. And that answer, if it's a no, we're not taking Shedeur Sanders, is going to be a big sigh of relief, and that's going to likely open the door for Kirk to remove his no-trade clause or not exercise it and proceed with the trade. I could see Cousins wanting to talk with the Browns about that. I could see the Browns wanting to talk to Cousins about a couple of things. One, health. How's the shoulder? How's the elbow? You told everyone in New Orleans that you played through a shoulder and elbow injury the last couple of games of the season, and that's the reason why you sucked. Is the shoulder and elbow better now? If so, then who has an issue with acquiring the guy that weeks 1 through 9 had 17 touchdowns to 7 interceptions and was 6-3? Everyone can get behind that guy, right? Especially at this stage of the offseason where there's not a lot of great options. That'd be a godsend for the Browns right now. So that's probably the first thing the Browns want to figure out. What's the health like? How's the Achilles? How's the entire right arm? Second thing, and this is something that the Browns and Cousins have to come to an agreement on, is money. No team trading for Kirk Cousins is going to take on the rest of that 4-year contract he signed with Atlanta last offseason. If Cousins gets dealt, there is a 99.99% chance that it comes with a new reworked deal. Likely a $1 million contract, around $15-ish million. He has $37.5 million guaranteed to him in cash. That's not a cap hit. That's just his bank account is going to get $37.5 million from somebody. The question is, who? Right now, it's all going to Atlanta. I'm sure the Falcons would like to find a trade partner to offset some of that 37.5, right? And they go to the Browns and say, listen, if you take Kirk Cousins and his entire contract, we'll give you him for next to nothing. If you want Kirk Cousins and you don't want to pay him, then you got to give us a better draft pick. Just like Jerry Jeudy, when he was traded from the Broncos to the Browns, Cleveland only gave up a 5th and a 6th because they took on the entirety of that 5th-year option. When Baker was traded to Carolina, the Browns had to eat about half of that 5th-year option to get a trade done. So I'm guessing the Browns want to meet with him about his health, and they have to come to an agreement on what a new contract would look like. Because there's no sense in trading for Kirk Cousins, him getting to town, and then starting from scratch on what a new deal will look like. And if you don't come to an agreement on a new deal with him, you cannot trade for him because he has a no-trade clause. So he will just shoot it down and go, I don't want to go there. They want to pay me next to nothing. Or Atlanta won't trade me there if you guys don't take on more of the contract because they don't want to pay $35 million of that $37.5. So we got to come to an agreement on a number you're willing to pay that the Falcons, the team I'm currently being held hostage on, will say, fine, we'll pay $20 million if you pay 17, or we'll pay 30 if you pay 7. So I believe those are the things that these two parties are trying to come to an agreement on. I might be way over my skis. I could be totally wrong. But I've got a tough time believing that Kirk Cousins, on the day of the Sweet 16, MLB opening day, is like, you know what, honey? Let's do a weekend getaway to Westlake. I think maybe that Chipotle still serves like portions from like 2016 when Chipotle was actually good. I miss the old Chipotle. Or I think he is just there with the Browns, which they have been busy, by the way. That is the one hurdle in this entire theory I've cooked up. Yesterday they were in Miami meeting with Cam Ward. It'd be a little bit of a quick turnaround. They all got PJs. It's not difficult. You can easily go from your private workout and fly back to Cleveland on Wednesday night, or Thursday, 8 a.m., wheels up, and you touch down in Cleveland around 11-ish, right, give or take. And it's almost 6 p.m. right now, or depending on when you're watching, it's almost 7:30. It can be done, no problem. Next week, they meet with Shedeur Sanders after his pro day, but this is the regular season for the front office. This is their busy time. They've got to be busy. So if the Browns want to get the ball rolling on a Kirk Cousins, because what about this? Let me throw this out there. Ready? What if the Browns are spooked about Aaron Rodgers maybe not going to Pittsburgh? So they are trying to get a trade in the fast lane so that if Rodgers decides, you know what, on second thought, I'm just going to retire, now the Browns aren't bidding with the Steelers for Kirk Cousins. And that leaves Pittsburgh as the only team at the carousel without a lion or a zebra to ride on. That could provide some motivation for Cleveland to get this going, right? To hop in the carpool lane and zoom along quickly. The Giants, they decided we're not going to wait for Rodgers. We're going to roll with Russell Wilson because we don't want Rodgers to decide, I'm going to retire. Russ goes back to Pittsburgh, and now New York doesn't have Russell Wilson because they wanted to hold out. We've got a fun carousel going on here, and at the moment, there are 3 vacancies: Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Tennessee. Just none of these teams have legitimate starting quarterback options. And there are only 2 to 3 options: Aaron Rodgers and Cam Ward. I expect Ward to go to Tennessee. If Rodgers goes to Pittsburgh, then it's a simple match for Cleveland and Cousins. But if Rodgers does decide to retire, which I posted a video on the channel not even an hour ago, and then this news dropped, so I'm kind of stacking videos on top of each other here, but I don't want to just completely skip Kirk Cousins going to Chipotle in Westlake. That's not a short-worthy, that's a video-worthy thing. Then you've got a competition, though, as I was saying, for if Rodgers retires, like Schefter speculated today. You don't want Cleveland in a bidding war with Pittsburgh, because I think Cousins might decide, I'd rather go to the Steelers. One team was in the playoffs last year. One team won 3 games. I'll use my no-trade clause and say no to Cleveland, so don't even bother. I only want to go to Pittsburgh. That could really, kick things into high gear for Barry, Stefanski, and Haslam. Okay, so shout out your city, and let me know if you saw Kirk Cousins. My dream, by the way, is can we throw the picture of the Chipotle crew on screen again? Whoever amongst this crew spotted Kirk Cousins, gold medal to you. It looks like we got 4 Chipotle workers snapping a picture with Kirk. I could die right now and be happy if one of these 4 people is a viewer of the Browns Report and took that picture and was like, Petey's not going to believe who came into Chipotle today. And now I'm on the show. That would make me the happiest man in the world. So let me know where you're tuning in from. That's going to do it for us on our third episode of the day. You know, in the offseason when news breaks, we are going to scramble the Jets, and Reed and I are going to get a video out to you as quickly as possible. If you're looking for that type of dedication from your YouTuber, scroll on down and click that subscribe button.